Merry Christmas, everybody!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Picker. My name is Kevin and we are in the eBay cave and we're happy you joined us on what should be Christmas Eve. So hopefully you watch this and you can enjoy the rest of your Christmas Eve, or maybe you can watch it the day after Christmas. I don't know. It's more important to be with your family right now anyhow, and that's what I'm doing right now because I recorded this a couple days ago. And I am having a hard time here because I know that tomorrow I'm not going to post a video. And it'll be the first time since the end of May that we didn't post a video on a day, which kind of blows my mind a little bit. But we're going to take Christmas off and we're going to enjoy it with our family and with our little kids. You know, they're only little for so long. I'm pretty excited. We have had some decent sales lately. Obviously not on Christmas Eve when you're watching this, but we have had some pretty good sales. Even as Christmas and the Q4 season kind of slows down, we've still sold a few things even though we haven't been listing too many. But I'm most excited that somebody's out there in my Commonwealth cabin right now working on it. So Lisa and Travis are out there, and I don't think we've introduced them to you just yet. We're going to soon. They're doing a little bit of work out there, and I really appreciate what they're doing for us. So hopefully they'll make that thing look great inside there and you'll get to enjoy it soon, as will I. Eventually we'll get in there and we'll show you the progress as they go, and then we'll put the whole thing on a video at some point as well. Hopefully I get the kids together. I'm going to show you what sold out of the Homeschool Hustler store today without them here because I want to get them together with Blue Ridge Mama, with Bubba, with the dog. I don't know. I might even let those cats get in the picture, and maybe we'll say Merry Christmas to y'all and thank you so much for the support you've given us and for watching our program and being part of our family, and we'll hopefully be able to do that on this video today. But in the meantime, I'm gonna act like a history teacher at the end of this video and give you a little. I gave you a history of Hanukkah a few days ago. I'm gonna give you a little bit of history of Christmas that I do every year on the last day before Christmas break, and I'll do that so you'll know at the very end to turn it off before you have to listen to your old history teacher talk to you again. Although I'm not as boring as your old history teacher, I promise you. I'm a little better than that. I hope I am anyways. But before we do that, let's show you what's sold out of the Commonwealth Picker store and the Homeschool Hustler store. $161.83 out of the Commonwealth Picker store and $59.13 out of the Homeschool Hustler store. Let's take a look. All right, this is Department 56 Snow Babies, and these are Blue Ridge Grannies, so we're selling them not on consignment. She says selling them, and I'm selling them. Of course, she's making... While you're seeing this video, quite possibly, if you're watching it on Christmas Eve, I am at Blue Ridge Granny's house right now eating pumpkin pie. So this is well worth the pumpkin pie. At any rate, it sold for $15.16 plus shipping. All right, here is a Nike Dry Fit Liberty Flame shirt. This was part of a giant lot that we bought, and it's nothing amazing, but it did sell, and it even has a couple of picks in it, unfortunately, and it sold for $20.95. All right, this is the only viewer sale of the day, and I have to do this one more time here. Oh, it's not working. Well, that's good. I'm glad I did it, because I ought to ship this thing out. I have to change the battery, I guess. Hold on. All right, let's give this one a shot. Holly Jolly Christmas, Burl Lives. We are Santa's elves. And Gene Autry's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And there's a long comment. This was the only viewer sale of the day, so let me read it to you. I think it's kind of funny anyways. And that's Brandy is the name. So Brandy, we appreciate it. And it sold for $11.96 plus shipping. It says, found you on YouTube. Love watching all your videos. The Eneman is super funny. As I work in a surgery department where we have colorectal surgeons, we spend a lot of time telling patients about what an enema is and when to take them before their appointments. And no, you don't take it by the mouth. I'm sure you say that a lot. LOL, we say that a lot. There you go. See, that's what I said. These are a great gift from my mom, from my 3-year-old. They both love this movie. Oh, wait a minute. These, not the Eneman. I'm like, well, what, your 3-year-old is giving an Eneman to your mother? Not a good gift. I think she's talking about these. So this is a great gift for my mom from my 3-year-old. They both love this movie and enjoy watching it together. Merry Christmas. So if I ship this out, because we're a few days before, this should be getting to you right now as we speak. I hope anyways. So it's there for Christmas. And if it's not, I hope it's not too big of a disappointment. So I appreciate it. Thanks so much. So Brandy, we really do appreciate the sale. And thanks for supporting us. And thanks for supporting our channel. All right, here is a Liberty University polo. This is a woman's polo, and I bought this for $1, and I probably shouldn't have. It was in the store for a long, long time, and I kept reducing it down. Sold it for $10.81, so it still made a profit of about $4. That's about right, $4. All right, this is a buy. This was a Roanoke yard sale. I can't remember what we entitled it, but I was down there with Deals and Dives, and we had a really good time, and this sold. This was something that we bought at one particular yard sale. He really did really well at that yard sale, and I can't remember what you bought there, Deals and Dives, but I know that I got this for $1, and I sold it for $24.95 plus shipping. And these are the, well, let me read it to you. It says VHS-C TC30s. So these are in the VHS camcorders. Right here, you can see them right there. And it's not perfect. You see there's little plastic coming off, so this isn't something you would sell on Amazon per se, but it is definitely an eBay, and I listed it as new in package, and then I probably disclosed the fact that the plastic's coming off of it. So $25, not a bad little sale. All right, this is the vintage 1991 Star Trek t-shirt. Every time I see Star Trek, I think of Thrifty as me out there. This sold for $19.95 plus shipping, and it came from the Plush Nirvana sale, and so we're going to add that to the total. But there were two things that sold out of the Homeschool Hustler store as well from that sale, and we've been keeping track of that sale all along. All right, I bought these out at, I can't remember what, I always call it Daniel's Big Adventure yard sales, because Daniel went out yard selling with me for the first time, and he learned how to do a little bit of eBay, and he's been doing it ever since. And Daniel is a remarkably brilliant young man, and he is like a foot taller than me, and so we were kind of an odd couple out there yard selling. I think it's garage yard sales for beginners or eBay for beginners or something like that. Can't remember what we entitled it, but I bought this with him, and I had a great day that day, but I would consider these a bad buy. We ended up paying like 75 cents a piece. Actually, it was more like 66.7 cents a piece for these, and we're selling them for $9. So I bought a bunch of them, and we're making like $2.50 to $4 on them, depending on where they're going in the country, but I don't know. They're slow sellers, not a great buy. I probably wouldn't do it again, but I do have a nice little box to fit them in, nice and perfect. So I did finally find the perfect kind of box. But for $2.50, it's not really worth it. Maybe $3.50 if you have. How many do I have? I think I had 10 total of these. I suppose that's worth it for one listing. But anyways, it is Richard Petty, or as Turner calls him, the King, which he is the king, of course. But I think he's thinking of the king in Cars, which I guess he's that too. All right, this is a My Little Pony softie that we got from that Nirvana Plush yard sale. And Reagan had it looking really good. Had brushed her hair out and everything. I'm assuming it's a her. Yeah, it's a her. Gotta be a her. This is going to a first-time buyer, and I've had a lot go to first-time buyers lately, which I think is interesting. And it's almost always first-time buyers on the Homeschool Hustler store, which I think is interesting. I'm wondering if eBay pushes first-time buyers to first-time sellers, because I have had so many first-time buyers on this young store, so I don't know. I doubt it. It seems like it would be a bad idea to do it that way, but you never know. This one sold for $14.95 plus shipping, so it's a pretty good deal. I think we paid $1 a piece softies. So anyway, this one is going out for a pretty good little price, and we're going to add that to the total. Reagan did the prep work. I see her little hand in the picture up there, so she took the picture as well. For those of you who are wondering, I do give them $1 for every sale out of the Homeschool Hustler store. They save $1 in their bank account out of the Homeschool Hustler store, and then they use $1 to give to different organizations and or charities that they do as well. But I also do pay Reagan an hourly wage for when she takes pictures, for when she cleans, even when she ships with me. I pay her a little bit. It's not very much. It's not how much, it's not minimum wage, let's just put it that way. But I do that as well. And I do occasionally do that for Turner, but I don't do an hourly wage for him because he can't sit down and do anything for an hour. I usually say, hey, I'll give you $1 if you clean X, Y, or Z. And that's basically all he can do right now is clean. But it's a good thing to do, and it's a good way. Reagan's had her goals, things that she wants to save for. and things that she's bought for other people with her own money, which I think is a great little skill. So anyway, you'll see, if you ever look at the Homeschool Hustler store, you'll see a dark background usually for the things that Reagan is taking pictures of. So, or sometimes you'll see her little hand in there. All right, here is the third of the Nirvana plush sales, and this is what, Braveheart? Isn't that what this is? Braveheart bear? Or not bear, Braveheart line. It's a Care Bear cousin, and it should be 1984. I think the cousins were 1984. Yep, made in Korea. And this is to a second-time eBay buyer. And this one sold $17.95 free shipping. And I think I put in the listing that it will ship first class. That means it's just going in a poly bag, just so they're aware of it. Sometimes people will get it and be like, oh, they just threw it in a bag. Well, I tell you right there in the listing, I'm just going to throw it in a bag. Because if I didn't, this thing might cost, I mean, if it's, you know, going priority mail, it might cost $9 to ship this thing to you. And then it'd have to be built into the cost. Slap the label right there on a poly bag and just slide them in. It's $17.95, and we're going to add that to the total, and I'll let you look at the total in just a second. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the last thing that sold today out of the Homeschool Hustler store. All right, this is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. It is I tried to tell Reagan, I'm like, hey, this is the Moana Disney video before Moana. You know, they've done 2 Polynesian videos, 2 Hawaiian videos. This was the first one. And I guess this is an alien, I think, if I remember that one. Moana's not a bad little video, by the way, if you like Disney. I watched that with Reagan. Lilo and Stitch, I can't remember. I just remember this thing being really ornery, kind of a pain in the butt. And it's dressed up like an Easter bunny here, so it's an Easter Stitch doll. And it sold for $19.84. I bought this the same day that I bought those VHS down there in Roanoke with Deals and Dives. All right, so that brings our $156. Here's the Softy and the Braveheart, and we're onto a new sheet here, the Star Trek t-shirt. $583 so far from $156 out of that Nirvana plush sale. And for those of you asking about the My Little Ponies, I've had 3 different people email me about the ponies. One of them wants to buy all of them. One of them wants to cherry pick a few, and I've probably at this point responded to that person. I may go that direction if the price is right. And so I have resisted listing the ones that Reagan has taken pictures of, because I'd much rather just sell them kind of wholesale and sell them off, as opposed to the time involved to make, you know, $3, $5, whatever, on each pony. And there are probably some really good ones in there that would make $10 to $15 profit. But I don't know that it's worth my time and effort. So I'm trying to explore a few different options that way. And so that's why you haven't seen those My Little Ponies, but we will definitely sell those things off. All right, hang around for the rest of the video, and you will probably see, hopefully, you'll see Blue Ridge Mama, and you'll see Sophie, and you'll see Reagan and Turner, and you'll see, hopefully, maybe if I can coax him into doing it, you'll see Bubba in the video, and I'm sure Turner will want the 2 cats in there too, but we'll tell you all Merry Christmas. And of course, I'm going to give you your brief little Christmas lesson, so if you don't want to hear that, you better get the heck out of here and have a wonderful Christmas from all of us. All right, here's your brief Christmas lesson here the day before Christmas. So, from your boring history teacher. Christmas is something that is a culmination of all kinds of events from a bunch of different places, and it takes the shape we have in America here really in the last 150 or so years, 151 to be exact. It's kind of fully developed into what we celebrate now. Now, people obviously look back to the birth of Christ, but in reality, there were these winter festivals, these, you know, deepest, darkest days of winter festivals going on in Europe before Christianity ever took hold of Europe or of the Roman Empire. In the north, in the Norse country, they had Yuletide logs, and they'd bring in the evergreens to show that there was life in the deepest, darkest days of winter. And in the Roman Empire, they had Saturnalia, which is a festival in December. They worshipped Saturn and agriculture and production, and they did that in the wintertime to kind of look forward to the spring. And then there was one particular god, Mithra, that the elite worshipped, and it's my belief that it's this particular holiday, when Christianity starts to take over, that really kind of grabs onto Christian tradition and marries it with Roman tradition, something that we call in history, we call it syncretism, where we're synchronizing 2 things that are different and making them one and making them kind of work on the same clock, if you will. And I think that's what happens. And the reason I think that is because Mithra's birthday, which is celebrated by the elite as kind of the most holy of the pagan Roman mythological dates, is December 25th. And so as Christianity takes over Rome, and Christianity doesn't take over Rome until the 4th century, the Edict of Milan in 313 AD by Constantine makes Christianity legal. But Christianity had worked its way into Rome in the 1st century. And so you begin to see this marriage. But in the 4th century, you see it become official. Christianity becomes legal, and not long after, it becomes the official religion of Rome. And that's where you see Santa Claus come into play. St. Nicholas was a 4th century saint in what was then the Roman Empire in the eastern part, which would become the Byzantine Empire and eventually become Turkey. And so he was in Anatolia or Asia Minor. And he was actually, his claim to fame is the doctrine of the Trinity. He argues that God is 3 in 1. And that's how he makes his claim to fame. And he argues it at the Council of Nicaea. And they also decide what books should be in the New Testament, what letters from Paul and whatnot should be in the New Testament. Hey, that's all right. Go ahead, come on.
What are you doing in here?
Right.
Hello.
So from the 4th century on, when the church is trying to convert the pagans of Europe as they move to the north in Europe, they are going to use this St. Nicholas story, this feast of the Nativity, and they're going to blend it together with the pagan festivals and holidays as they go northward. Because if you're going to try to convert a people to Christianity, and the first thing you tell them is they need to get rid of their holidays, it's not going to go over too well. So what they do is they basically take the pagan festivals and they Christianize them, and they do it using these feast days. They're going to do it using the feast of the Nativity, and eventually they're going to take this date of Mithra's birth, and they're going to combine that with the idea of Christ's birth. Now, Christ wasn't born on December 25th. And matter of fact, he wasn't born in the first year. He was born probably, my best guess from what I've learned, is in 4 BC is probably when he was born. Some people say 6 BC or 2 BC. I think it was 4 BC. And so I tell my kids in my class, I said, how in the world was Jesus born 4 years before Christ was born? It's very likely that he was born 4 years BC, and the reason is because when the Roman Empire finally is Christianized, they look back to set the date, and they can't figure it out. It's been so long ago, and Christ, during his lifetime, was a blip on the screen to the Roman Empire, and there was very little reference to the year he was actually born. There was none, actually. And so they just use that and they combine it with this December 25th birthday. And then other places kind of practice their own belief systems. Like, for instance, St. Nicholas becomes Sinterklaas in Holland. And those beliefs kind of filter in through all the different migrants into the United States. And I think in the 1820s or so, I think that's right, you're going to start to see the stories of St. Nicholas develop from a seminarian, I think, Moore, I think was his name, and he is going to tell this story of the night before Christmas. And I think in that story, if you think about it, and his tiny reindeer, this is a little elf. This isn't a giant, ho 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 Santa Claus. And that kind of becomes the evolution of Santa Claus, I think in the 1870s, maybe 1860s, where you're going to see a gentleman named, I think it's Nast, is going to create a visual image. I can't remember what it was for, maybe a magazine or a card, a Christmas greeting card, I can't remember. And you see the jolly Santa Claus. He's still an elf, and I don't think he's massive. I just think he's just kind of rotund at that point. And then, believe it or not, it's really Coca-Cola's image of Santa Claus that kind of is the modern day Santa Claus. And all of these traditions from all around the world kind of get mixed together and become this syncretic holiday that we celebrate today. And I thank you so much for tolerating my historical nonsense for a while, and we really appreciate you, and you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas from Bell Treasures in Bedford.
Hello folks, this is Kevin from Savvy, Virginia, wishing Commonwealth Picker and his wonderful family a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, Merry Christmas from Commonwealth Grammy in Arizona.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas from Dirt Road Treasures.
Wake up. Can you say hi? Can you say hi?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Deals and Dives.
Hey, this is Corn Boy. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from Dirt Road Treasures.
Merry Christmas, everyone, from Blue Ridge Granny.
Merry Christmas from Dirt Road Treasures.
Hey, just sending everybody a big Merry Christmas from all you guys out there hitting the yard sales and Goodwill and thrift shops. Hope y'all keep finding some treasures. Y'all have a good Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas from Boots.
Merry Christmas from Needful Things Antiques in Bedford.
Sophie. Sophie girl.
Merry Christmas, everybody!